there, my name is Vila Beck and the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share and subscribe and ring that little bell, or that little bell, wherever it may be, so you're notified when new videos drop. And I just say, if you enjoy this content, or even if you really don't enjoy it, if you hate this content, if you just happen to come across this content, would you consider subscribing anyway? I was going to say, if you like this content, can you subscribe? But really, I just want you to subscribe. That does me look good. And if you could hit that like button, that would be fan-dabby double dozy. And if you like Doctor Who, look, it's a video about Star Trek, so you probably like Doctor Who. In England, you like Star Trek, you like Doctor Who, especially in the 80s. Well, if you're from England and you grew up in the 80s, do you remember, like I did, going to your local video store, which was actually in a deli, as I recall, they rented videos, and renting out the Star Trek Next Generation as they were bought out on VHS. That was the only way you could watch them. You had to rent them from the store. Because they weren't on TV for the first few years, which, as it turned out, wasn't such a massive loss, because that first year of Next Gen, not so great. But anyway, if you like Star Trek and you like DVDs, maybe you'd like Doctor Who as well. I'm giving away Doctor Who DVDs. This one is called the E-Space Trilogy. 3 fantastic stories from 1981, starring Tom Baker, Lalla Ward, and Matthew Waterhouse. All you need to do to win them is leave the hashtag Marshmen and subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. That's kind of the important part of this from my perspective. Fine. I was going to make this video yesterday, and I said, you know what, Svi? Hang out there for a little bit more. There's going to be more coming. And by jiggery, there was. So let's start off. Firstly, I was very excited for the Noah Hawley? Yeah, the Noah Hawley proposed Star Trek movie. Now, Noah Hawley, I think, is a fantastic and interesting writer who I think would probably do something very interesting with the show and very organic to Star Trek. Anything that would be very, it would be very Star Trek-y, and I think that's what Star Trek really needs now, to play to its strengths. But CBS kind of regards talented people who want to work on Star Trek and make great Star Trek as kryptonite to them. They want to keep them as far away as humanly possible, which I think is a bit of a weird idea. Listen, if you had insanely talented people who want to work on your property and make you a lot of money and get it out of its nosedive that you clearly have put it in for the last 2 years. I mean, you know how many people are subscribing to CBS All Access more than we do. I think it's very low. I think you're getting maybe 200,000 or 300,000 viewers per episode of Discovery. Don't know what the Picard numbers have been like, but if they've been good, you would tell us. But you're not telling us, so that's an indication. So instead of listen to these people who understand Star Trek and want to make great Star Trek, they're gonna stick with Kurtzman doing Star Trek, which is I just don't get it. I don't get how they think this is going to help them in any way, shape, or form. And, the reason I don't get it is because I'm cursed with sanity and logic and reason. And an understanding of Star Trek, none of which I think the people at CBS All Access have. Fine, so let's start going through this. So, talk about Hawley's vision for Star Trek. So this is what he said. Going back to what I loved about the series Next Generation, when a lot of franchises focus on might makes right, Star Trek was always about exploration and humanity at its best, and diversity and creative problem solving. Yes! Oh, yes! It's so nice to hear somebody understanding what Star Trek is. Part of the reason this Picard show is running is because Picard was freaking awesome on Next Generation. There could be a thing saying, yeah, 1 second to self-destruct, and they'll be like, Geordie, options? And they would, and they'll come up with some. It's just freaking marvelous. It's so nice to hear somebody understanding what the freaking hell this is, because clearly you watch Discovery, they don't understand what this is. Again, if you watch Discovery Season 2, Season 1, you still got the last breath of ideas from what's it called again? Brian Singer, who no, not Brian Singer, Brian Fuller, Brian Fuller, and then that kind of melted away pretty darn quickly. By the way, I didn't hate Discovery when it started. I was kind of into it for the first 10 episodes until they did that. Until they jumped into a different universe, and it was before Christmas. Yeah, and then they came back on that whole mirror universe thing just didn't. That's when it started to go downhill for me. I like the freshness and the newness of it beforehand, and like the reimagining of it. I wasn't really bothered by the redesigning of the Klingons. Like, to me, I could tell they were Klingons, and I thought the look at Klingon society was kind of interesting. Right, so yes, but then it went quickly downhill. So it's so nice to hear somebody actually understanding, what Star Trek is. And so Hawley continues. There's nothing better than a moment when William Shatner puts on his reading glasses and lowers Khan's shields. Yeah, he's absolutely right there. It doesn't cost anything, but it's that triumphant feeling about smarting your enemy. I think it must mean outsmarting your enemy. For me, it's about getting close to those elements of the show. I don't necessarily find action in of itself interesting unless it's story. Yes! Oh, okay. Really? This whole video is me just going, yeah, because he's right. When the guy's right, the guy's right. So the whole rumor about him was leaked on 4chan by Twitter and shared to Twitter by Angry Mr. Flibble, who's I think a pretty good source. I haven't heard him be. Maybe he's wrong. But this is all rumor, of course. Well, not these quotes aren't. Yeah, they're from was it Deadline? I think Deadline Hollywood. But obviously the CBS, who have no clue what to do with Star Trek or what Star Trek is, rejected his script because it was too Star Trek-ish. It was too much like the thing that you wanted to do. The reason why the Marvel movies really worked and became such an incredibly powerful franchise is because they were authentic to the Marvel characters. It was authentic to what it was. And that's the thing that sells. Don't try and make something into something different that you think is going to be popular. Stick with the thing that you know is popular. Dance with who brought you, which is really, fabulous advice. So it was deemed by Paramount to be too Trekky and was rejected. And Paramount officials were also upset because it was too similar to the Orville. Really? Maybe because Star Trek is too similar. Maybe because Orville was too similar to Star Trek. Far more similar to Star Trek than the Star Trek you put out is. And so because they hate the Orville because they see it as an inferior competitor and something that's eating up their market share. Maybe you want to think about that. Maybe there's a reason that Orville is eating up the market share. So the script was reportedly set in the original timeline, the canonical timeline, and not the bad robot timeline. And it was expected to feature a mostly new crew. So that's interesting. I really wonder where they were setting this in their whole Star Trek timeline, but and what they meant by mostly new crew. I guess we're never going to know unless Noah Hawley wants to put out a graphic novel. That they would be smart to do that. Put out a graphic novel version of it, like a comic book version of it, and that would sell. I would buy that. Although I'm always disappointed when they do that. I read the William Gibson Alien, his script for Alien. They turned into a graphic novel. I read the first issue of it. I was like, I'm not really so into it. So the Hawley rumor indicates that he's warped because he feels the whole thing is a waste of time if he can't make the movie that he wants to make. Good for him. So the next that's one brilliant creator they don't want anywhere near Star Trek. The other brilliant creator who I would love to see get his hand on Star Trek, which they basically shoot away, is Quentin Tarantino. That movie is never happening, and that movie would make a lot of money, and it's just crazy. I would love to see Tarantino Star Trek. I would love to see what the hell this insane visionary creator would do with Star Trek. And honestly, I think that is really a way to move forward for all these franchises that are sputtering. Just hire great creators to tell great stories with your properties. That's it. Don't worry about connecting them. Don't worry about having them all merged together to make one movie. Have them all in their separate universe. It doesn't really matter. But wouldn't you love to see a Tarantino Star Trek like the same way? I don't know, anyone. I would like Ridley Scott Star Trek, or what's the guy? The guy who did Inception. Oh, fantastic! The Batman movies. I would like to see his Star Trek. I would like to see great creators Star Trek. And now that I would like to see great creators take on Superman or Batman as well, and just worry about making a good freaking movie. So there's two incredible creators they treat like kryptonite, And now here comes the third one, who has demonstrated a complete understanding and love for Star Trek, and who's probably done more to support it than anybody else this side of a decade, is Seth MacFarlane. Seth MacFarlane, of course, went to do the Orville when they wouldn't let him do his Star Trek show. And gee, I bet they're feeling kind of stupid about that now. So Mr. Flibble comes along with more rumors about his. So the rumor is that Seth MacFarlane and NBC were looking to buy Star Trek, the non-bad robot Star Trek, from CBS, and to get it in production as early as 2022. So I get, and that meeting apparently was supposed to be 2 hours long, and it lasted for like 30 minutes because they were asking for like a crazy amount of money, because they thought that Picard was doing well. I don't think Picard's doing well. I think Picard's not doing badly, but it hasn't really engaged me. I don't think it's really engaged anyone as being like, this great series, because it isn't. It's so far it's kind of mediocre. And honestly, if they understood Star Trek, they would have understood that Picard isn't the thing that moves Star Trek forward. It's the relationships of it's having these incredible characters working with each other and being close with each other. Like in the second episode of Picard, they did this stupid thing where they said, "Well, of course, I could go and find Riker and and Worf and Troy and Geordi, and we could go on a mission to find Data's daughter." And I'm like, yes, I want to see that. But no. I don't think Patrick Stewart wants to share the limelight with them. So the rumors are coming out about what MacFarlane wanted to do with Star Trek, which sound pretty darn good. He had like a wide-ranging plans, and he was going to cancel everything apart from Picard. Well, I guess, why not? Yeah, that's him. And another thing called Star Trek Prodigy. Prodigy. Yeah, Prodigy. Fine. When nobody knows what Star Trek Prodigy is, it was trademarked. It was reported as trademarked by Escapist magazine back in May 2019. No one's heard it, but that means Star Trek Discovery, Lower Decks, the animated series, Section 31, the Captain Pike show, and Starfleet Academy, all gone. They would all be gone under the Seth MacFarlane reign. Which, listen, I kind of wanted to see a Pike show, but not a Pike show made by Kurtzman. But I think that's the only thing they did of any merit at all during all of this stuff. So he had a wide-ranging plan to reinvigorate the franchise. He wanted to do a movie starring William Shatner and Jonathan Frakes. That would that sounds interesting. I'm not sure if it sounds good, but I trust Seth MacFarlane because he's been pretty darn good thus far. But like, what would it be? Star Trek Bulging Waistlines? Like if you've seen Jonathan Frakes or William Shatner, neither of them look like they did when they were shooting the show weekly. Listen, I am not too svelte myself, so it's far a bit from me to cast aspersions on their physical prowess. But that just seems like a weird combo to me. But again, listen, this is what happens when you build up trust. Seth MacFarlane has built up trust. I would give him an airing on anything. And yeah, the rumor says that he was already in discussion with Shatner and Frakes. I think he is friendly with Shatner. I mean, when he hosted the Oscar, it seemed to be they had a personal friendship going on for that weird little skit that they did. He also wants Michael Dorn to reprise his role as Worf. That's probably a good idea, and helm his own series. That's probably a darn good idea. I would like to. He's young enough, and I think that'll probably work out pretty well. What else is there? And then so it's a Worf series, and then he also said he might do a series. I'm assuming these would all be like shorter, like mini series. Was starring Scott Bakula, who played Jonathan Archer. Again, yeah, it'll be for a limited series. So yeah, I think that I would be happy to see more Scott Bakula. Honestly, I thought that last season, apart from the last episode of Enterprise, was really really good. It really finally came into its own. I think Manny Koto took it over at that point, and he really understood it. I especially liked there was a bunch, and they had a bunch of good three-parters, but I especially like the one where they had the Orion slave women in it. That was really cool. They did this really freaky dance. How many years was it? I don't think I've seen it since it came out. That still has stuck with me. Well, I kind of guess for the obvious reasons. And the flagship series, it sounds like it's essentially the Orville. It would be there'd be a new crew set in the Enterprise era. So that would be in the Enterprise era. So it's talking about the Scott Bakula one. So I guess that's where he would come in. That's an interesting choice to go for. And the captain will be played by MacFarlane, loosely based on himself. So it sounds like essentially exactly like the Orville. And he said that show would just keep running and running and running until he finally, killed over and died, or he retired. But yeah, listen, look. All of this sounds much better than the Star Trek we have right now. It just doesn't sound as sexy as the Star Trek we have right now, which is why I think the idiots who are running Star Trek, who wrote the idiot television executives, will never ever do this like really cool stuff, which is just such a freaking tragedy. What do you think about it? Are you happy with the state of Star Trek? Let me know what you think. Comment in the comment section. Again, if you enjoyed this content, or even if you hated this content, if you would hit the subscribe button, that would make this rabbi very, very happy. And if you hit the like button, let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And if you want to win those DVDs, don't forget the hashtag Marshman. The instructions are in the video notes. Have yourself a fantastic day.